Before we start, let's begin with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank and praise you for your bountiful goodness. I thank you for all of those who join us this day and for those who will be listening later, that you would bless them in their ministries. Thank you for the work of LCEF and of those of our mortgage team. I just ask that you continue to bless them in the work that they do in serving the church and her workers. All this I pray in your name. Amen. So before we dig in about that, for those of you that might be on the call who are just wondering, who is LCEF? I wanted to share a little bit about that with you, and then we'll dig into the good stuff, which is about our mortgage, okay? So as we go through this, we have a few goals. I'm going to give you a brief overview of who LCEF is. We're going to dig into our RCW lending process, answer your questions, and then answer the big question, what's next? So one of the best ways to learn more about LCEF is through this video that we created. So let's take a moment and watch.
Once upon a time, there were 4 people, Paul, Emily, Michael, and Sarah. They lived all across the United States. What do they all have in common? They all love Jesus. They all are Lutheran, and they all love the church and want to see it prosper. We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund, the financial arm of the Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod. We share those same goals, values, and beliefs as well. We want the church to grow. We want to see more people saved. How does LCEF do that, you ask? Here's how. Take Paul. Paul invests $3,000 in LCEF. He is saving for his daughter's college education, and he wants that money to earn interest while she finishes high school. Paul also wants his money to help LCMS ministries and church workers. But Paul isn't the only one who invests in LCEF. Sarah, Michael, and Emily invest as well. Those investments are then put to good use. For example, one day, Peter from Louisville, Kentucky, calls his LCEF district vice president. He needs a loan to build a new sanctuary for his growing congregation. The district vice president, a specialist in the loan process, is the perfect person to get this ball rolling. Through LCEF, he can get a low-cost loan and continue in his great work of sharing the gospel. This happens all the time. It's Lutherans helping other Lutherans. We help in other ways too. Maybe you have an idea for ministry and aren't sure how to get it off the ground. Perhaps you need to clarify your congregation's vision or your organization needs to raise funds. Whatever your strategic need, we have solutions. And because the church's needs are ever changing, we have been keeping our eye on the real estate needs of LCMS congregations, schools, and organizations. If you plan to buy, sell, build, monetize excess land, or repair extensive deferred maintenance, our real estate solutions team can help you. We're here for you. Through investment, lending, ministry, and real estate solutions, we help LCMS rostered church workers, congregations, schools, and recognized service organizations grow ministry opportunities. For over 40 years, we've served the LCMS with the help of over 60,000 Lutherans who have invested in the mission of LCEF. We understand ministry like no other financial institution. Whatever your situation, LCEF is here to help you identify and address your needs. Our commitment is to seeing you and your ministry flourish. Connect with us to discover your options. Visit lcef.org or call 800-843-5233.
Again, LCEF has been part of the LCMS for over 40 years. In fact, this year we'll be celebrating 44 years, and we are so thankful for the ministry that we get to have. Our mission is simple. It's to ensure that resources are available to fulfill your call for God's glory. And as the video shared, we really kind of operate in these 4 sections of lending, investments, ministry, and real estate solutions. We're going to be digging into the lending solutions area, but before we do that, I wanted to share with all of our church workers, particularly some of the investments that we have. Most recently, we do a lot of investing for our church workers as we think about your financial health and wellness. It is so important to us, and part of that goes hand in hand with the lending that you see here. In July of 2021, we launched the Church Worker Steward Account, which is specifically for any church or lay workers who serve in any full-time capacity in a Lutheran church, school, or organization. The reason why we did this is we know that it is a sacrifice to be in the ministry, and we want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. We know that it's important that you save for now and into the future. And so with saving through this steward account, we wanted to give you a great return so that you can maximize on the way that God is calling you through your vocation. So our steward accounts function a lot kind of like a savings account. You receive debit cards and a check that you are able to use, and the money is available to you at all times. We do offer other term notes if you're ever interested in that, but it earns you a 3% interest, which is amazing rate right now. And so we want to encourage you to do that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. Going hand in hand with this is our lending. LCEF is known mainly for its lending. I feel like every time I go out and talk to people, they're saying, oh yeah, LCEF helped my church build this or my school redo this, and we're so excited. One of our hidden gems, though, is really what we're going to talk about today, which is the lending that we provide for rostered church workers. So if you are rostered through the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, this opportunity is for you. So I'm going to pass this along to my colleagues, Kara and Michelle, who are going to talk to us about the RCW mortgage team. Kara?
Thank you. This is our team. There are 5 of us right now. We have 3 licensed mortgage originators, and we have process support. We also have an amazing agreement with True Home Solutions so that we can help even more rostered church workers. And Michelle.
So hi, my name is Michelle Porter. I'm the team lead with the RCW mortgage program. And I just want to go over some things to consider before purchasing a home. So as you can see, we recommend that you set a budget and you stick to it. Some things to consider would be your student loan obligations. And this is a big thing when it comes to getting pre-approved for a home. Your student loan obligation, what you pay monthly is what we'll look at as far as one of your liabilities. So I would recommend finding out if you're on like IBR, IDR, and then, if you have any questions at that time, we can help you with that. Some other things, make sure you're paying your bills on time. Save about 7 to 10% of your target purchase range, and that includes the minimum 5% down payment and then any closing costs, which are about 2 to 3% of the purchase price. Take inventory of your assets and liabilities, understand your housing allowance, get pre-qualified before you start shopping. I know there are beautiful homes out there and everyone gets excited, but the best thing is to get with us first to get pre-qualified for the amount. And last, buy within your means. Okay, so the next thing is the housing and interest rate environment. Currently, interest rates are pretty high with the regular market over 6%. Our interest rates are still fairly low. We're in 4%. I think right now our highest rate is 4.5. Housing prices are beginning to taper, but they're still elevated. And then again, I just talked about the rates. Our rates have increased, but they're still below market.
Plus, with our loans, there is no private mortgage insurance. So even if your loan to value is at that 95% with only the 5% down, we do not charge private mortgage insurance. So that is a great benefit to our rostered workers.
Okay. You may ask, what do I need to do in order to qualify for one of our loans? In order to be eligible, you must be on the roster. So that means either ordained or a commissioned ministry. Typically in active or emeritus status and sometimes candidate status. The programs that we offer residential loans. We have several different products. We have a 7 and 10-1 ARM, that's the adjustable rate mortgage. We also have a 15 and 30-year fixed product. We also have a home equity product, and we can do a 15-year term for that.
And with those loan programs, those are only for primary residences.
Some other things that you need to know, we can do purchase, we can also do refinance of a primary or single family residence. I spoke about the minimum requirement for down payment. It's 5%, 5 to 10%, again, no PMI, and again, 2 to 3% needed for your closing costs. Again, the terms go up to 30-year terms for the purchase, and then the home equity is 15 years. Some of the benefits of going with the residential loan program, again, we have competitive interest rates, no private mortgage insurance. If you're with an outside lender, typically if you have less than a 20% down payment, you will have private mortgage insurance. We have knowledgeable loan officers that are here to help you like every step of the way. Working with a lender who is empowering the ministry, and then no prepayment penalties or any other products. So the lending process timeline, once you go online and complete the application for pre-qualification, typically one of our loan officers will contact you immediately within about 24 hours, but to get the pre-qualification letter needed for yourself and the realtor takes about 2 to 3 days. An average closing, we get questions about that. Once we get the once we get the purchase contract, we can have you closed in about 30 days or so.
This is just our map availability by state. So the red states are where you would be working with our LCEF roster church worker program. We also offer, well, the Lutheran Federal Credit Union offers loans in the blue states, and then we have an agreement with them where we purchase those loans from them. So we are pretty much nationwide with the exception of New York and Hawaii.
Okay. Home equity loans, again, if you want to take out a home equity loan to do like renovations, college expenses, whatever it may be, we do offer those. That is a fixed interest rate and minimum of $5,000, and then we can go up to $100,000.
We do offer other programs other than housing. We have with the Lutheran Federal Credit Union, we have a consolidation loan program where you can consolidate outstanding unsecured loans, credit cards, medical bills, up to 7-year repayment, loans up to $25,000. We are now offering fixed and variable interest rates. And then we have an education loan repayment program, consolidate your federal and private student loans, repayment options up to 10 years, maximum of $50,000, and those are fixed rates as well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. That was a lot of information. I actually kind of want to go back to one of the things that you talked about, which is the process. Like you said, there's often a lot of questions about the process, and I'm actually going through that process and working with Michelle here, which has been great. So for the pre-qualification, when should someone start even thinking about getting pre-qualified? How soon into maybe looking for a home should they do that?
So I would say start before you start looking at homes. In this market, homes are going extremely fast. So you want to make sure that you have the pre-qualification letter before you even start looking, so that, make sure you don't miss out on a home.
And a lot of the people that your department gets to work with are getting ready for their first call. So as you think about that process, in relation to their call day, when they actually found out where they're going, how soon should they wait till their actual call documents are received, or can they get pre-qualified before that?
They can get pre-qualified before. We just can't close within. They have to have their call start and be have the start date within 60 days of closing. So
Okay.
we can go up to 60 days prior to when they actually start
Okay.
for closing.
But
Pre-qualifications are good for
90
90
days.
days.
90 days. That's great to know because I think you guys end up getting kind of a lot of last minute
Mhm.
calls
Mhm.
with that. So it's great for our called workers who are getting ready for their first call to know that they can wait about 90 days even and start that process and be ahead of the game for when they
Mhm.
know where they're actually going, which is a fun and exciting process. Thank you. And you talked about some of the other programs that you offer. Some of the people that will be watching this are thinking about refinancing. Does LCF do refinancing, and what does that look like if we do?
So we do offer refinancing as well. It's the same process. You would go online and apply, same interest rates. I know with some lenders, the interest rate is higher. You do a refinance or a cash out refinance. For us, it would be the same. We do ask that you have a loan to value of 95% or less. But again, if you have any questions about the equity or the loan to value, we can help you with that.
Okay, that's great. So I want to ask you one more question. And it's going to be, what is the biggest question that you often get? Both of you are on the phones answering it. And again, that's one of the things I really love about LCF is whether you're calling about investments or whether you're calling about mortgages, you're talking to real people in real time. So what's a common question that people often ask that you're like, man, I wish they would ask that a little bit sooner, or the biggest tip or trick that you want people to remember as they start this process?
I guess the common question is what's needed. A lot of first-time home buyers don't know exactly what's needed. We make the process very easy. So as long as they apply, we will walk you through the entire process. So whatever questions they have, we're here to answer those.
That is great. And like I said earlier, I am starting that process, and I can tell you, I didn't know a single thing. Being able to fill out my pre-approval, go through that. And I even had questions as I was doing that, and I was able to call and get an answer, and that is great. So thank you, ladies, so much for all of that information. So what's next for you? As we wrap up our webinar series this week, we are so blessed that we get these opportunities to share about LCF and the various aspects of our ministry. So you'll be receiving a follow-up email from me that will share a recording of all of the series that we had this week. So if you aren't able to be with us for the realtor, you'll still be able to access that. Or if you want our general Who is LCF webinar, all three of those will be made available. You'll also be receiving a packet in the mail that contains some information for you that summarizes everything that is going on today. So I want to share three of the things that will be included in that. One that'll be coming from the mortgage team is this helpful tool of things to remember. You might remember that Michelle kind of gave us those tips and tricks to know what to do at the very beginning. And if you didn't get a chance to write it all down or didn't remember them all, we'll have this on it in one sheet that you'll be able to take a look at. I also talked to you about, besides lending, it's important to start saving, whether you're like myself, who's using that savings towards my first home, or maybe for those upcoming trips, or even those upcoming uh-ohs, as I like to call it, whether it's a car breakdown or the fridge breaks down or whatever that might be. Our Church Worker Steward account is really important, and we think that the value is great for our investors. And so we're going to be sending you an application for that and a gift to say thank you, in that LCF will be matching up to $100 of your initial deposit into the Church Worker Steward account. So you'll simply be able to fill out that application, include the $100 gift certificate along with your deposit. And don't worry, we have you covered, because I'll include an envelope so you can mail it all back to us. There'll be some other goodies in there. And of course, most importantly, how to contact LCF. So as we wrap up our time together, I want to remind you that these are the different ways that you can connect with LCEF. Obviously, you can visit us if you're here in the St. Louis area in our national office, or mail us anything. You can call our call center, and they, if you have any loan questions, they'll direct you to Kara and the rest of her team for any of those questions. And if there are any other general questions for LCF, you can start there with our 800 number. And finally, we encourage you to follow us on social media. We get so many great stories and get to encounter so many amazing people that we work through through, whether they're investors or they're RCWs who have gone through the lending process. And so we get to share those stories with all of you. So follow us on social media to learn more about LCEF. Thank you again so much for your time. God's blessings to you in your ministry, and thank you for all that you do. Have a great day.